Welcome to the podcast that brings you closer to the world. I am your host, Prishan Angal, and today we're diving into the current social justice movements, their impacts on our society, and the ongoing fight for equality and human rights. In a world where the quest for justice is ever evolving, it's crucial to understand the importance of these movements in promoting equality and the rights of marginalized communities. In this episode, we'll explore the rise of contemporary social movements, the significance of promoting equality in the 21st century, the role of activism and civil rights in shaping policy and societal attitudes, and how we all can contribute to these movements in our daily lives. Let's begin by taking a closer look at the forces that are driving the fight for social justice today. Social movements have been at the heart of societal change, and today is no different. Movements like Black Lives Matter, hashtag #MeToo, and the ongoing fight for LGBTQ rights are all powerful reminders that the battle for equality and justice is far from over. The Black Lives Matter. This global movement began in 2013 in response to an equitable of George Zimmerman, who shot and killed Trayvon Martin, a 17-year-old black teenager. But it gained worldwide momentum about the tragic death of George Floyd in 2020. Black Lives Matter isn't just one individual's life, it's about addressing systematic racism, police brutality, and its inequities that black people face in every corner of the society. From protests to policy changes, BLM has brought issues to racial injustice into the forefront of global conversations. The Me Too movement, sparked by the courageous stories of survivors of sexual harassment and assault, has ignited a global reckoning in workspaces, media, and beyond. This movement isn't just about exposing abuse, it's about demanding systematic change. Women and men around the world have raised their voices to change the cultures of silence, shame, and exploitation. It has become a force that calls for respect, equality, and a zero tolerance policy towards harassment. The LGBTQ plus rights. In many parts of the world, LGBTQ plus individuals are still fighting for the right to live freely and openly. From marriage equality to the fight against discrimination and violence, the LGBTQ plus community has made monumental strides. However, challenges remain, with debates around transgender rights, healthcare access, and the legal recognition of non-binary individuals. Social movements continue to push for equal rights, visibility, and acceptance. Across the globe, the conversation around immigration has taken the center stage, with issues such as border control, refugee rights, and the treatment of undocumented workers. Immigrant rights movements advocates for the fair and humane treatment of individuals who seek better opportunities, protection, or refugee from persecution. In many countries, these movements are challenging xenophobia, racism, and policies that discriminate against immigrants. Disability rights advocates have long fought for the inclusion and accessibility of people with disabilities, from public spaces to healthcare and employment. Movements for disability rights are working to ensure that individuals with disabilities have the same opportunities and access as everyone else. Legal frameworks like the Americans with Disability Act ADA have paved the way for progress, but the work continues to make communities fully accessible and inclusive. The power of activism and grassroots movements. One of the defining features of modern social movements is the power of grassroots activism. Social media technology and digital platforms have given activists an unprecedented reach to organize, spread awareness, and mobilize pe- people globally. Movements like Black Lives Matter, hashtag MeToo, and climate activism have harnessed the power of social media platforms such as Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok to amplify their messages. Hashtags like Black Lives Matter and Me Too have become rallying cries, connecting people from all over the world to create a collective voice that cannot be ignored. In recent years, digital activism has played a major role in shaping public opinion and influencing policy change. Online petitions, crowdfunding for legal battles, and organizing protests via social media platforms have allowed individuals to become activists without necessarily having to be in the streets. Movements like Fridays for Future, led by climate activist Greta Thunberg, show how online advocacy can become a global market for climate justice. Young people have always been able to forefront of such social change. Today, we are seeing an inspiring wave of youth led movements pushing for climate justice, raising equality and gender rights from strikes for climate to youth advocacy on issues like education and economic justice. Today's youth are shaping the world and political landscapes in ways we have never seen before. They are, they are not waiting for change, they are creating it. Social movements are not just about awareness, they're about change. The demands and actions taken by activists have had a significant impact on policy decisions, legal frameworks, and societal attitudes. Let's take a look at some of the changes brought about by these movements. In many countries, social justice movements have led to implementation of important legal reforms. For instance, marriage equality was legalized in many countries due to the tireless work of LGBTQ plus advocates. Similarly, laws around workplace harassment has been strengthened because of the Me Too movement. The fight for racial justice has led to police reform, discussions, and even the defunding of policy departments in some cities. The work done by social movements has also contributed to shifts in societal attitudes. People are becoming more aware of issues like racial discrimination, gender equality, and the rights of marginalized communities. This cultural shift has led to greater empathy and more inclusive spaces in schools, workspaces, and public life. Movements have played a key role in changing perceptions and normalizing conversations about precisely taboo subjects. Social movements have also pressured corporations to take responsibilities for their actions, whether it's companies addressing gender pay gap, supporting racial diversity, or taking a stand on climate change. Activists are holding corporations accountable. The demand for corporate social responsibility, CSR, is stronger than ever, with companies realizing that the stance on social issues can impact their global image and bottom line. Social justice movements are powered by the collective efforts of individuals working towards a common goal. So, how can you, an individual, contribute to these movements and make a meaningful impact? The first step is understanding the issue. Learn about the challenges that different communities face, whether it's racial discrimination, gender inequality, or the fight for LGBTQ plus rights. Stay informed about current events, engage in discussions, and share knowledge with others. Support organizations that are working for the front lines of these movements, whether it's through donations, volunteer work, or spreading awareness. Through social media, your actions can make a difference. Every little bit helps when it comes to creating change. Being an ally means using your privilege to amplify the voices of those who are marginalized. Stand up for what's right, challenge discriminatory behaviors, and use your platform to raise awareness. Allies play a crucial role in the success of social movements, and your support can help others feel seen and heard. One of the most effective ways to bring about social justice is by advocating for policy changes at local, national, and international levels. Whether it's signing petitions, calling lawmakers, or participating in protests, engaging in the political process is an essential way to push for the reforms that will create lasting change. Social movements have been a powerful force for change, and in today's world, they are more important than ever. By standing together, raising our voices, and demanding justice, we can create a society that values equality, human rights, and dignity for all. Remember, every action counts. No voice is too small to make an impact. I am your host Prishan Ankali, and thank you for tuning into today's episode where we discussed on social movements and civil rights. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to share it with your friends and leave a comment with your thoughts on how we can continue to fight for a more just and equal world. Until next time, let's keep pushing for change because when we all stand together, anything is possible. Empowering. Stay concerned, stay aware, and most importantly, stay passionate about creating a world that is fair for everyone. Thank you.